You couldn't but be impressed with the way Galway squeezed out that game against Tipperary, because for long stages they looked pretty, like, especially the first half, and I know the wind was such a big factor, but to be 9 points to 3-7 behind at half time, you think Tipperary just have to see this game out, but Galway were absolutely brilliant in that second half, and they won the second half by as much as 3-12 to 6 points, which is a 15-point turnaround. And Conor Whelan is a huge part of that, but he's not the only one. And of course he is absolutely brilliant, everyone kind of knows that. Evan Nyland, I thought, was really good at knitting the play, and at times he seemed to be out around centre forward on maybe even Paddy Maher, and those who were there might be able to say, because it's for sure, because it's a bit tough to tell on TV. But Brian Concannon inside was brilliant. But I like the way Nyland knits the play together, moves the ball around. I think he's really good, even the way he set up that Cathal Mannion goal, which pretty much kind of sealed the turnaround late on, because at that stage it was 2-19 to 3-12. There wasn't much in it, so 25 points to 21 at that stage. So Tipperary still had a chance to turn it around with 5 or 6 minutes to go. Ruck ball, Nyland ends up with it a few seconds later, slips it into Mannion, and the Tipperary defence just seemed to stop. And maybe that was kind of the second half in microcosm for Tipperary, because it's just pretty brutal, really. 8 of the last 9 scores were from Galway, and of course, like, the elements were huge. I mean, it was coming in sideways, sleet and rain and even hailstones, it looked like. And like, it was the same in the first half. Tipperary, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 7 scores in the first half, and looked to be absolutely cruising. John McGrath was, I think, fairly glorious. I mean, turned Paul Killeen early in the game, got the first goal straight away after a ball in from his brother Noel. Scored the second goal. Maybe James Skehill could have made himself a little bit bigger. The way he came out, he seemed to kind of half turn himself. I'd say at the other end, Brian Hogan probably feels like he could have done a little bit better. But the big plus point here for Galway and for Shane O'Neill is that he gets a quarter final now against Wexford, and a chance to test a few of these players again. Like Brian Concannon showed last year that he definitely has the stuff to be a top player. It's probably a couple of the older guys that need to step up their form. Just I think very, very impressive from Galway. And will this game have any relation to the summer? That's the one that we're not sure yet, because the conditions like that couldn't be more different to what they'd be like if these two teams meet. By the time, if and when they both get out of their provinces, you're going to be talking July before they meet each other, I suppose, or just touching July. Tipperary probably could have made the game safe just after half time. Bubbles had a chance from a ball that Seamus Callan had put across. The ball came loose. Bubbles had a chance to flick it over the goalkeeper, but missed the flick. That would have made it 4-7 to 9 points, and at that stage maybe Galway might have folded up the tents, but they didn't. And the Tipp forwards, the starting forwards, scored just 2 points from play in the second half. Shane O'Neill not afraid to make the changes, replaced Paul Killeen early on after originally swapping him with Darren Morrissey, I should say, because John McGrath was causing trouble. But yeah, for Tipperary, I think probably most of the forward line really struggled to get into the game, especially in the second half, and the wind and all that kind of stuff. The team just created 11 chances in the second half, and I mean, even to show how much the forwards or the Tipperary team could have done, the team could have done more in the first half. It was a huge amount of frees that kept Galway in the game. They had 9 scoreable frees. 7 were scored by Nyland, who again looks like a good prospect, but Tipperary probably gave up too many handy, like, I mean, every team kind of would be bemoaning giving away converted frees, and that gave Galway some sort of a chance to be within striking distance for the second half. Who could have seen it turning around just like that? But Tipperary left with quite a while now without a game before getting to the Munster Championship, whereas Galway, I mean, Shane O'Neill will be delighted after the way they faded out against Limerick. He wouldn't want to have seen that again, and he hasn't. They've come back against Cork late on to win. They've come back against Tipp late on to win. So looking good for Galway at the moment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching our game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.